Doing another vinyl video here. This one, now that we've progressed through the B's in my collection, moving on to letter C. First artist I have here is Covenant. Notice I said Covenant and not The Covenant. That's because after they created 2 albums, they ran into problems with another band having the copyright to the ownership to the name, and they had to change it to The Covenant, and then they spelt it with a K, and they changed their style of music to more industrial and stuff, and I'm not a fan of that. But this album and the next one I'm going to show you is great symphonic Norwegian black metal. So that's the cover, and the logo here's got like a nice indented foil. Very nice. And then the back here with the song titles is also foil. And then here's the gatefold. Nagash and Blackheart. At the moment, it was just the 2 of them on this album. The next album was a full band. And I'll show you both vinyl for this one because it's a nice splatter. So on this release, you have the album as well as 3 demos that were previously unreleased. So that's side A. And side B. And here's side C, which is the final one of the album. And then side D, I like how they use an older, more primitive text to signify that that was the demo era before they were established enough to have the official logo for the band that they used on the album. That album came out in... Of course, it's not saying here. Oh, I've got it on my outer sleeve there. This one was released in 1995. So, good old 90s era. And if you haven't heard this album, it's awesome. The next one is probably their most popular because it has female vocals from Sarah Jezebel Diva from Cradle of Filth, and also Hellhammer from Mayhem. This was the first album to feature him with drums. It also features lead guitar from Astenu, who played lead guitar in Dimmu Borgir for a while. So it's Nexus Polaris. And this came out in 1998. Here's the front cover. And then the back. And then the insert of the vinyl came in, lyrics on that side, and then the album credits. And this version I have is on transparent purple. There's the other side. Got a piece of dust on it. I won't worry about it for now. I'll wait till I listen to it and brush it off with my carbon fiber brush. Moving along, the next artist I have, speaking of, is Cradle of Filth. This is their first album, The Principle of Evil Made Flesh. one of my favorite albums by them. This album, Vampire, Dusk in Her Embrace, and Cruelty and the Beast were all masterpieces in my opinion. There's the back cover, the song titles and band, and then the gatefold has nice blown up pictures of the band members at the time. Very cool. And the version I have is the splatter variant. So it came also with 2 sleeves housing the vinyl. So one side was had lame pentagrams on it, and I'm a Christian, so I don't like looking at that. So I made this nice marble finish to get rid of them, so I didn't have to look at them. And on the other side, you've got lyrics. And for the other one, it's the same story. And then a little picture here, and lyrics and album credits. There's side C and D of the vinyl. And there's side A and B. Yes. If you haven't heard this album, it's a great place to start with the band. Like I said, this album, their EP Vampire and Dusk in Her Embrace and Cruelty and the Beast are all masterpieces. You can't go wrong. During that era of the band, they were completely untouchable. Nobody sounded like them that was out there. This album came out in 1994, so... Okay, moving along. Next one I have is Cruelty and the Beast by Cradle of Filth. This is... the band actually lost the... some of the stuff to do with the recording, with the masters for Cruelty and the Beast. So they went in and touched things up in the studio and re-recorded parts that they needed to so that they could create a new version. They released it on CD and on vinyl. And yeah, they called it Cruelty and the Beast Remistressed. But it's still basically the same album. There are some differences if you're a fan of this album. If you loved it as much as I did, you will definitely notice some of those differences. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. The good things are actually things that were on the original recording that got buried in the mix. So they went into the original recording and brought those up in the mix. So the drums sound clearer on this version, and Sarah Jezebel Diva's vocals on the album, there were a lot of vocal lines that were buried in the mix, and you can hear her a lot better. One thing I don't like is I feel in this version, in order to accommodate and bring those things up in the mix, the guitars kind of get a little muddied in the mix now. Not so much that you can't hear them, but they're not as dominant as they were on the original pressing of the album. All in all, if you've never heard the original version of the album, like, this is amazing. And honestly, I still think this is amazing, or else I wouldn't have got it on vinyl. So anyways, this album came out in 1998. This is my favorite Cradle of Filth album. My second favorite is Dusk in Her Embrace. This one comes on transparent red vinyl. And they both look the same, so I'll just show you one.